Welcome to Eagle News. Hello, I'm Aubrey. We're glad you could join us today. In today's episode, we will report about Eversole Run Middle School news, national news, Ohio news, teacher-focused science news, riddles, technology news, and much more.
In the town of Watamu in Kenya in Africa, Philip gets a call. A local fisherman has accidentally caught a sea turtle in his net off Kenya's Indian Ocean coastline. Kipanda immediately jumps into his car to rescue it. Kip was once an accountant, but for many years he has dedicated himself to protecting endangered turtles. Endangered means the turtles are rare and in danger of disappearing forever. That's why it's important for people to save as many of these turtles as possible. Since 2009, Kip has worked for a conservation organization called Local Ocean Conservation. Conservation organizations try to protect and preserve things found in nature. Among other things, Local Ocean Conservation tries to protect sea turtles. Kenya is home to 5 types of sea turtles, all of which are endangered. If caught, the turtles face multiple threats. They are sold for food or killed for their shells to make jewelry. People also kill the turtles to make medicines they claim will cure different diseases and problems. Pollution or the addition of harmful materials into the environment hurts the turtles too. People have thrown a lot of plastic trash into the ocean. Too often, sea turtles mistake the plastic for food. Floating plastic bags, for example, look like jellyfish that turtles often eat. Eating plastic can cause a blockage in their intestines or guts. This can make a turtle sick and can even be deadly.
In world news, spider silk is amazing. It is one of the strongest materials found in nature. It is even stronger than steel. Spider silk is also very stretchy. Scientists have been trying to make it in the lab. They have been working on it for years now. Scientists in England have succeeded. They have created a new material that works like spider silk. It is very strong and stretchy. The materials may help improve many products. For example, it could be used to build better bike helmets and airplane wings. The material is pretty amazing. It is almost completely made out of water. Mary Shaw is a scientist. He helped make the new material. Shaw says it's amazing that spiders can make such strong silk. The new material is an artificial fiber. It is made from something called hydrogel. The hydrogel is mostly water. It also has small amounts of silicone and cellulose. Silica is a material found in many rocks. Cellulose is a fiber found in plants. Scientists can pull the silica and cellulose fibers from the hydrogel. This turns them into a strong thread. The material could be used for many things. It is strong enough to be used for protection. For example, it can be used to make clothing for soldiers. It could also be used to make hot air balloons and helmets. The material is even biocompatible. That means it could be used inside the human's body for things like stitches.
What is creative writing? As the name suggests, creative writing is a form of writing that goes beyond the traditional realms of normal, professional, academic, or technical forms of writing. Instead, it encompasses the number of different genres and styles across a whole range of fields of both fictional and non-fiction writing. Storytelling, playwriting, poetry, prose, journalistic, and more. Though the definition can be quite vague, creative writing can, for the most part, be considered as any type of writing that is original and expressive of oneself. Typically, it can be identified by an emphasis on narrative craft, focusing on elements such as character development, narrative, and plot, infusing its structure with imagination, invention, and story. In this sense, creative writing can technically be considered any writing of contemporary, original composition. It's bound by no standard conventions and can use a whole range of elements in its craft.
On this date in history, on November 19, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address. In 2 minutes, he defined the ideals of the country and defined the war. However, he was wrong when he said people would not long remember what he said there, and the Gettysburg Address will stay in the United States forever.
In more language arts news, dramatic irony, a literary device by which the audience's or reader's understanding of events or individuals in a work surpasses that of its characters. Dramatic irony is a form of irony that is expressed through work's structure. An audience's awareness of the situation in which a work's characters exist differs substantially from that of the characters, and the words and actions of the characters therefore take on a different, often contradictory meaning for the audience than they have or on the work's character. Dramatic irony is often associated with the theater, but examples of it can be found across the literary and performing arts.
Fun facts of the day. New cars smell is the scent of dozens of chemicals. Few odors are pleasing as new cars smell, and not just because it's nice to be in a brand new car. But while the scent may be strangely satisfying, the fact is that it's pretty much just a combination of 50 plus chemicals that are released into the car, decaying quickly over time. The concentrations found in a typical new car aren't dangerous, but among the chemicals that make up much of the new car smell are those found in nail polish, auto fuel, and petroleum.
In Eagle sports news, this last week in Eversole athletics, our winter sports teams were hard at work, practicing and preparing for their seasons. Our competition cheer squad competed their first event 2 weekends ago in Miamisburg. They took 9th place overall versus a very strong small school division, and first place in the middle school non-tumbling division. Great effort, ladies. The basketball squads put their hard work to test as they scrimmaged Carr and Jonathan Alder. Go Eagles! Now for this weekend's weather. On Friday, there's a high of 44, a low of 29, and a 0% chance of rain. On Saturday, there's a high of 48, a low of 35, and a 0% chance of rain. On Sunday, there's a high of 53, a low of 42, and a 20% chance of rain. I'm Aubrey. This was this weekend's weather, and have a good weekend.
In science news, what is the universe? The universe contains everything that exists, including the Earth, planets, stars, space, and galaxies. This includes all matter, energy, and even time. How big is the universe? No one knows for sure just how big the universe is. It could be infinitely large. Scientists, however, measure the size of the universe by what they can see. They call this the observable universe. The observable universe is around 93 billion light years across. The universe is an expanding one. Of the interesting things about the universe is that it's currently expanding. It's growing larger and larger all the time. Not only is it growing larger, but the edge of the universe is expanding at a faster and faster rate. Scientists think that the edge of the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light.
In math news, the slope of a line is the measure of its steepness. Mathematically, slope is calculated as rise over run. The first thing to realize is that each solution is a point on the line. These points are sometimes called friendly points. We can calculate slope by dividing the change in the y value between 2 points over the change in the x value. In order to understand the importance of the definition of slope, you should understand how to interpret graphs and how to write an equation.
For this week's weekly riddle, I am in the middle of every month. I am in winter and spring, and I am in night and morning. What am I? Answer, the letter N.
In social studies news, what is the Declaration of Independence? The Declaration of Independence was originally written by Thomas Jefferson. Later, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Jefferson worked together to make changes to the document. The final draft of the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776, but the actual signing of the final document was on August 2, 1776. John Hancock was the first to sign. His signature was so large and bold that people used John Hancock to meet a signature. Writing and signing the Declaration of Independence took courage, but it was an important step in the founding of our government. The Declaration of Independence is on public display at the Rotunda of the National Archives in Washington, D.C.
In National Day calendar news, today is National Carbonated Beverage with Caffeine Day, National Play Monopoly Day, Substitute Educator Day.
In health news, the health triangle is a helpful tool for visualizing your total well-being. The triangle is made up of 3 sides, each representing an important side of your health: physical, mental, and social. Physical health represents your biological welfare and how to protect your body from an illness or injury. Mental health includes your emotional life and how you process things such as stress or anxiety. Social health indicates your placement in a broader community of friends and family. Bolstering each side of the triangle will help you lead a healthy life.
In social and emotional news, our voices are a critical part of human communication, but it turns out there is actually still a lot we don't know about how our brains perceive and produce the emotions that we convey through voice. A new study dove into this arena, focusing on the one voice that most people inevitably hear all the time, your own. The results, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, suggest that the emotions carried in your voice can influence your overall emotional state.
Now it's time for this week's Eagle Recognition Awards. Each week we will pull out 6 Eagle Recognition Award winners. If your name is pulled, please come down to the office to see Miss Moses to claim your prize. Good luck!
Now for this week's Eagle Recognition Award winners.
Rohan Upalapati for ownership by Mrs. Phelps.
Ella Kim for being service-minded by Mr. Irwin.
Laura Wolfinger for being service-minded, ownership, and respect by Mr. Two.
Sarah Aziz for showing ownership by Mrs. Schaefer.
Gunnar Adams for showing ownership by Mr. Manning.
And Sophie Kinar for being service-minded by Mr. Armstrong. If your name was picked, please come down to the office to see Miss Moses.
The inspirational quote of the day, "Success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it," by Henry David Thoreau. That means to me that I should work hard and good things will come.
In even more U.S. news, non-native Burmese pythons have established a large population in South Florida and are one of the most concerning invasive species in Everglades National Park. Pythons compete with native wildlife for food, which includes mammals, birds, and other reptiles. Severe mammal declines in Everglades National Park have been linked to Burmese pythons. The most severe declines in native species have occurred in the remote southernmost regions of Everglades National Park, where pythons have been established the longest. In a 2012 study, populations of raccoons had dropped 99.3%, possums 98.9%, and bobcats 87.5% since 1997. Marsh rabbits, cottontail rabbits, and foxes effectively disappeared. The mammals that have declined most significantly have been regularly found in the stomachs of Burmese pythons removed from Everglades National Park and elsewhere in Florida. Raccoons and possums often forage for food near the water's edge, which is a habitat frequented by pythons in search of prey. The government has enacted many laws to help solve this problem.
In Ohio news, it's National Apprenticeship Week, and in Ohio, the state is pushing to fill much-needed skilled labor positions across the state. Ohio is the 3rd leading state in the country for apprenticeships. We're number 1 in the Midwest, says Lieutenant Governor John Husted. Employers prefer them because they show that you actually have skill, because every occupation requires some kind of specialized skill these days. There are more than 1,300 open apprentice opportunities and over 230 open positions available, according to Ohio Means Jobs. Many new jobs are being created every day.
In more Ohio news, the Ohio Theater is back in business. The theater will be showing the 2019 Tony-winning musical Hadestown. After a 20-month hiatus due to COVID-19, Broadway is back in business. Hadestown is a musical based on Greek mythology, specifically the tales of Hades and Orpheus. The musical made its first appearance in May of 2016 and will be making its next soon. If you have the chance, be sure to check out the soundtrack of this beloved musical.
Next week is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a national holiday celebrated on various dates in the United States, Canada, Grenada, St. Lucia, and Liberia. It began as a day of giving thanks for the harvest and of the preceding year. Pilgrims and Puritans who emigrated from England in the 1620s and 1630s carried the tradition of days of Thanksgiving with them to New England. The modern Thanksgiving holiday tradition traced to a recorded 1619 event in Virginia and sparsely documented in 1621 celebration in Plymouth in present-day Massachusetts. Have a great Thanksgiving break.
Well, that's the Eagle News for today. If you have a story you would like to have featured on Eagle News, please let Mr. McNeil know. Here at Eversole, we are creating a community of excellence by being positive, working hard, and respecting the uniqueness of ourselves and each other. See you next week and have an amazing day.